In 1994, the East African Community Partner States instituted a body to regulate fishing activities on Lake Victoria. It was intended to curb the increasing poor fishing methods and to improve the livelihoods of the fishing community on and offshore.
In the past, the laws, the Baganda, the Soga, whatever, they had their own system of rights fishing. But now with the advent of modern governance, with all its vagaries, all those systems of rights are broken down. Nobody doesn't seem to own anything. Now that lack of ownership is the driver for all the ills.
A convention agreement was signed between three East African states of Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, and that's when Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization started. Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization is mandated to harmonize, develop and adopt conservation and management measures for sustainable utilization of living resources of Lake Victoria.
Some of the data is even lying in Europe for earlier research that was carried out on this lake. How do we get it all together into this so that we can really have a very well documented system of data without gaps? We have been struggling over the last few years. We have to ensure that this data can be properly analyzed and used and disseminated to the other people, users all over the world, so that those who may have interest in the Lake Victoria can also access the data. We want a system where we can even go backwards many years.
The above-mentioned mandate highlights the organization's central objective of harmonizing the relations between fishermen, the partner states and the lake for optimal socio-economic development. However, for the past years, there has been a decrease in the number of fish catches on Lake Victoria due to poor fishing methods, increasing population of the lake community, putting too much pressure on the lake, and a concern for the fishing community who are languishing in poverty. Yet there are bases for which the industry depends.
We don't have prices on our fish. Secondly, the government has neglected this place, not knowing that this is the economic center of the nation. We don't have schools. We don't have hospitals. We are just like that. Sensitization about the fish sector is very little. And you cannot teach a person who has never gone to school that you don't do this. When he's poor, he's hungry. If they put emphasis on us, give us schools, enough schools, health centers, we shall be of that level. But when you speak of bad fishing, what is bad fishing? We don't understand bad fishing.
On the side of health, we need transport. So you put what you call a dinghy. Let me call it dinghy, but outside they call it ambulance. That helps people who are very sick. So immediately they can be treated very well. But here we have that problem of transport. So we need a dinghy for sick people here to help us.
Lake Victoria is the most productive freshwater fishing lake in Africa. Fish yields from the lake is between 800,000 to 1 million tons annually, valued at 350 to 400 million US dollars. The lake's annual projections are a clear indication which reflects that government and the fishermen do reap from every catch in terms of profits and tax, on the government side. But actually, from the recently conducted research, the reverse is a reality. As far as the partner states organization, Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization activities are a concern, the operation costs of the lake seem to override the expected tax revenue collected. While the living standards of the fishing community on the islands is not reflected, they are poverty-stricken. The above challenges facing the fishing industry and many others were the reasons why LVFO, in collaboration with the Intel Corporation Manufacturers of Processors of United States of America, embarked on a fact-finding mission. They were analyzing how best ICT can be employed to support the industry in overcoming the obstacles through a project codenamed ICT4Fish.
ICT4Fish is to the use of technology to help accelerate the reduction of poverty around the lake. When we talk about acceleration of reduction of poverty around the lake, we are considering what we call e-learning. There are so many children who are orphaned around the lake, and there are not many teachers. We can use e-learning to help them understand that they can also have an opportunity to do other things that rather than fishing. Because now the fishery is getting exhausted, and as they come to be, they'll always only think about fishing. But the resource is not there, they're getting diminished. In that case, we have a problem ahead of us. Apart from e-learning, we also have the e-health. There is a lot of problems about the health of a fisher folk, or about the health of the fishers. So many have problems, they don't even have dispensaries, they don't even have where some of the diseases they have can be diagnosed. So electronic health, what we call the e-health, comes in handy.
Intel has undertaken a number of rescue research projects in Africa, aimed at bringing into harmony the peaceful coexistence of man and the lake. It aims at preserving and conserving the ecosystem and its cohabitants.
This place looks much more prosperous than some of the others we've delivered, although it's clearly the most remote and rocky one we've seen. And so I'm pretty excited to see what they're doing right, and also figure out how we're going to bring some technology to bear on this island that has pretty much no infrastructure at all, and see if there's some way we can actually help them doing that. We're working on a number of projects here in Africa right now that could help the people in the islands. The first one is the Great Lakes Kasawa Disease Initiative. We were actually tracking famine disease as well as training farmers on how to respond. That same infrastructure could be used for fishing.
The visits to the islands of Jagus, Sigulu, and Diabana have exposed the actual plight and fears of the islanders.
Maybe we are about 1,500 people here.
Living on this stone?
Yes.
1,500 living
Yes.
on the stone, eh?
But we have only 2 toilets, which are not completed. We don't have even a clinic here. Many government clinic. Yet we have people here. Many of women are here who have lost their husbands. We are keeping them here without any help.
Yeah.
You have reached at a good time for us to give you information that we are now lacking fish.
Okay.
Yes, because now, even if you have 3 boats or 5, you can even fish 4 fish.
4 only?
Only 4.
The outcome of the director of Architecture Intel Corporation, Chris Thomas, visit to Africa and particularly Uganda is to serve as an eye-opener and a case study to the world of the urgent need to reorganize the fishing industry by addressing these critical issues affecting these sectors.
Data capture by PMUs, e-learning, e-health, e-warning, meaning that we can be able to build in an electronic warning system to allow the managers know that at least there are intruders in protected areas. The other one is to find out whether we could be able to come up with a system, an efficient system of disseminating information that we have here so that at least managers can use them to make instant decisions. These are some of the areas we have narrowed down to, and still they are going to be synthesized, and we see which area we start with.
I would suggest, if you want to help us, start from where the problem starts. Don't start from up, from bad fishing. First from schools, health centers. Just bring these people so that they have the right direction to stay in.
The first one that I think can be implemented almost immediately is an electronic marketplace.
Okay.
Where the fishermen can use a phone to understand where the best prices are, what is the price, and create the ability to not be to understand what's going to happen when they dock.
There are 978 islands on Lake Victoria, of which Uganda owns about 400.
As I was challenged the rockstar, I think I've started being a rockstar. And ICT4Fish must be sustained.
When ICT4Fish project is successfully done and completed, it will be a viable venture in the right direction, the first in rank to benefit over 22 million people in the region.